How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Las Cruces State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and in today's video, we have a lot to talk about, so we're just going to get straight into it. We're going to start off with the biggest topic of the day. As you guys know, last video I mentioned how the conference schedule would probably come out very soon, and it just dropped yesterday, so we're going to talk about that right now. Our first conference game will be December 21st against Sam Houston State, just like last year. Or we didn't play on December 21st last year, but we played against Sam Houston State at home in the first conference game against Coach Hooten's old school. So I think having the home crowd should definitely help out. Another year where we're starting out at home in conference, that's great. I believe every year that I've been at NMSU, we've had our first conference game at home, which is huge. And our last few games are also at home for conference. We don't know what the non-conference schedule looks like right now, but we are playing 20 conference games, 10 away, 10 home. We're not playing against each team twice. Some teams will play once, some teams will play twice. So it's kind of a mix up there. Still playing against Liberty twice, still play against UTEP twice, obviously home and away. One of the teams we only play once is Sam Houston. We play against Delaware, Missouri State twice, one on the road, one at home. So some of the two new teams in conference we'll be playing against, obviously Kansas State. They were new last year. They'll be more veteran this year. They had a really young team last year, but they lost a lot of guys at the portal, I believe. Liberty's going to be really good, but I still think we match up well. I think UTEP's always going to be a dogfight. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a situation where we split again. First 2 years I was at NMSU, split. We won our home games, lost on the road. This past year, won on the road, lost at home. But as you guys know, we were a lot better on the road, especially in conference last year. So this next year, if we can balance it out, we'll be a lot better for sure. Another thing to note is that conference starts a lot earlier this year. Usually conference doesn't start until January. First game is in December. And then from there on out, they are in January. I wouldn't be surprised if in between those games, we play some non-conference games, maybe against some non-Division I opponents to get some free wins. That's how it was last year. But usually the way it is like the first 13 games are non-conference and then the last 18 are conference. And then you go for your conference tournament and then NCAA tournament if you make it there. So it kind of stuff like that. So it might be switched up a little bit because I highly doubt we'll go 2 weeks without a game. I'm pretty sure somewhere in there we'll at least have 1 or 2 games, especially with it being during Christmas break. We usually have a few games at home, but against, again, not Division I teams. But hey, we'll take free wins. I know not a lot of fans like seeing those games, but hey, again, I'll take a win any day of the week if we can. They should be free wins. As you guys know, a couple years ago, almost lost to Northern Mexico. That was a scare. And Coach Hooten did say that he did lose a game against a non-Division I opponent while he was at Sam Houston. Not sure which team it was against, but, it can definitely happen. So they were supposed to be free wins, but, we got to go out there and play hard regardless. Other than the schedule, still on top of the roster a little bit. The Aggies did pick up Christian Villegas, I think they say his last name, and he will be a walk-on for the team. He spent 2 years at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He did not play again in the game against NMSU, but he did play against UNM. I think his season high or his career high there was 7 points. He played at Mela College his first 2 years, where his first year he averaged 9.3 points. Second year he averaged about 6. The past 2 years at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, I think he only played 27 games combined. Didn't see the whole, floor a whole lot. Averaged about 1.5 points a game. So he's a guy that I don't think will play a whole lot of minutes for us, but could be a guy similar to Jacoby, nowhere near the, play style as him at all. But we're a player where he might not, play a whole lot to start the year. But maybe if, some players aren't doing their job and Coach Hooten looks for other guys to step up, he could be possibly a guy. He's an El Paso native, played at Andreas High School. I never played against him in high school. I did play in El Paso for a little bit. I think he graduated in 2021, I'm pretty sure. This will be his 5th year of college basketball. He has a 2 JUCO years, so he has some years back of eligibility. So I'm not sure how much longer he'll play college basketball, but for at least 1 year with us, and then maybe another year with us, or maybe another year with another school, or maybe he'll be done after this year with us. Who knows? I'm not too sure with whole college eligibility, what's going on with all that right now. The roster is out online, so if you just look at NMSU basketball 25-26 roster men's, you'll find it on there. Something I did not see on there is Marvin Cox. I'm not too sure if he's not going to be on the team this year or what's going on with that. We do have Christian filling in that spot. Could kind of be similar to Marvin last year. We didn't play a whole lot, but I still think he'll get in the games because he's a veteran, guard in college basketball. He's 6'2", about 155, I think. If anything, maybe he'll be like an Xavier Johnson type player last year. Xavier Johnson had 1 game where he scored 5 points, didn't score in any of the games. It was against University of the Southwest, and he played at New Mexico Junior College, which both teams are in Hobbs. So he got to, ball out against one of his, former opponents he played against. I don't think it's really a big rivalry because it's obviously an NAIA and a JUCO school, but them being in the same city, then Hobbs High School has the most state championships in basketball. I believe they have 17. This is a big basketball college town as it is. Not sure where he's at now. Hopefully he gets somewhere where he can get a lot of playing time and do well. Maybe a Division II school or maybe a D3 JUCO, NAIA, anywhere lower than D1. Because he's a D1 caliber player for sure, just like Christian. But I believe both these guys could definitely dominate if they played at a lower level. Same with Christopher Baiku, but maybe they just want to play D1 and keep doing their thing there. So as of now, the roster is compiled of 13 players, with 8 of them being guards instead of 7. Out of those 8, I believe 7 of them can get true playing time. Maybe Christian can prove that later on. Have 2 posts and 3 forwards. Again, not too sure what's going on with Marvin Cox. Let me know if you guys know. Not too sure if he's not on the team anymore. What went on with that? Not too sure. If I do find out any information, though, I'll definitely let you guys know. But again, if any of you guys know, please let us know in the comment section below. Coach Hooten and his staff have been offering more high school athletes out of the class of 2027. Some out of the 26, 27. I don't know if he's offered anybody out of the class of 2028 just yet. I think that might be a little too young. But one of the guys he's looked at is Christopher Brown, who plays at Dream City Christian High School, which is where Gabe Pickens played. So they have a relationship there. So, maybe he'll want to come to NMSU because of that. But he's also got a lot of other offers from Houston, San Diego. I think he's got some other big boy school offers and some mid-major, low major. He's got all types of Division I offers. So it'll be hard to know where he goes because he's got so many options. But hopefully he ends up picking us like many other Aggies have done in the past. He's a 6'10 center that can just dominate the paint well, traditional, post role. So we'll see. He has a lot of time to develop. So maybe by the time, he does graduate, he'll be more of a Division I talent and can help us with posts for the future. Because as you guys know, this year we only have 2 centers, 13 players overall. Maybe Coach Hooten will sign another, couple. He got Christian, so I talked about how he might try to look out for some more guys, and that's one of them. But I also said that I don't think any of those guys will play a whole lot. Some of the guys he picks up right before the year. The main reason I say that is because they're coming, in later than other players, going to have less time to develop in the system. But hey, man, anything can happen, and they can prove anybody wrong. So we'll see what goes on. Taiwo Doramala, I think is how you say the other name. Again, these names become harder to pronounce, I swear, every other video. He's only about 6'7". He does play center. He is in high school at Bakersfield Christian. They have a pretty solid team. I know he's 6'7" center, might not sound too great, but at the same time, he is just in high school. So 6'7" in high school, maybe it's competition-wise, that's really tall. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he can play forward as well. And maybe he has some time to grow by the time he gets to college. Again, he's the class of 2027, so he's only going to be an incoming junior. So he's definitely got a lot of time to develop. And again, if you're 6'7" as a junior or 6'10" as a junior, it's pretty insane. Coach Hooten has been doing a lot of podcasts recently. Recently, he was with Full Court Network almost a month ago, actually. He was also on with Jeff Grommer again, who graduated from New Mexico State but covers the Lobos now. But he's still an MCU alum, loves the Aggies. I'm pretty sure he was happy that we beat UNM this past year. He's had Coach Hooten on the podcast now a few times. He had him on the first time whenever Coach Hooten was entering his first year coaching the Aggies, and now he's got, a few years under his belt. And again, I think this team can be a lot more improved from last year. Even though the team last year finished with a winning record, I think this team has a chance to be even better just because of the offensive talent they have. But I do want them to still really be great in the defensive end. I wouldn't want it to be a situation where, hey, last year, 17 and 15, a lot of those wins were because of our defense, and then our offense couldn't really help out a lot. I don't want it to be a situation where we lose a lot of games this next year because our defense isn't there and our offense is really good. If we can balance it out really well and play, just as good as we were at home, the first year under Coach Hooten, and just as well on the road this past year, then we're set to be a really, really good basketball team. 4-star recruit Josh Powell is a member of the class of 2026, and he will be visiting New Mexico State this fall, along with Oklahoma State, DePaul, Howard. But he's got a lot of options other than that as well. He's a great player. I can't remember if we've talked about him before. If not, I need to make a post about him or maybe make a video about him. But he's a really strong guy, and could be playing with the Aggies, not this next year, but the year after possibly. And along with Gabe Pickens and Jacoby Osborne, assuming they stay long term. And if Marvin Cox isn't part of the team anymore, we only have 2 returners, 11 newcomers. Again, that could be a struggle, but I feel like we've dealt with it a lot recently, and I feel like a lot of college basketball teams have, especially at the mid-major and low-major level. Yeah, at the high-major level as well, but definitely not as much as the mid-major or low-major level at all. I think we'll get adjusted to it just fine. Speaking of one of the newcomers, Kyrese Mullen, it is his birthday. Maybe I'll make a post about that. I reposted the main basketball team's pages. Happy birthday wish to him. It's kind of hard to find a lot of pictures of them in an Aggie uniform, though, so I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. If I haven't made a post on Josh Powell, I definitely will soon. Other than that, it's going to close out for the video today. I know it was a lot, but I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'm glad I was able to get that to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. And I actually, before I do close out, I want to say thank you guys so much for the last video I made about Serge Rice having 13 points for the Lakers. That video has almost 600 views. Hopefully we can get to 1,000. That'd be awesome. And I would like to hit 1,000 subscribers by the time I graduate in May 2026. So please help me reach that goal. I think the Lakers do play today. Can't remember who they play against. So if he has another great game, maybe I'll make another video and it'll fit the algorithm well on YouTube and get a lot of views. We'll see how that all goes. That's going to close out for the video. I'm out.